Good morning, everyone. This is Mike Lanning, and I am a local realtor working with Keller Williams, Southern Tier and Finger Lakes. And as some of you know, I'm going around the community interviewing local businesses. And this morning I have the pleasure of being at the Chemung County Historical Society, and I'm here with the director, Bruce Whitmarsh. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so this has kind of been a staple in the community for a long time, and it's kind of close to my heart because as a former history teacher, I love history and I definitely love local history. So tell us a little bit about the beginnings of the Historical Museum and the Society.
Sure. So the Society was originally founded in 1923, and through the years it was housed at the Steele Library, a couple other locations throughout Elmira. And we have been here on Water Street since 1982. And we've done some additions and renovations to the building, but this has been our home since 82.
Wow. And so when did you become associated with it?
So I came in fall of 2010. I've been working out in North Dakota, and this job came available, and my wife and I decided to move back towards where we were from. I had gone to North Dakota for the job. So it's been great coming here, and I brought the whole family, and it's settling here, and I feel like I have some roots here myself now.
So where were you originally from?
So I grew up outside of Akron, Ohio, a town called Medina, and after high school and bouncing around for college, I did a whole bunch of graduate school and ended up, I've lived in many different places across the country, but I'm happy to be here.
And what was your vocation before becoming a director?
So, I sort of fell into this job. I was working on a PhD in history with the full intent that I was going to go be a college history professor, and I started working at a museum. It fit my schedule. It was a couple of bucks to go out on Friday nights. I was still a college student at the time. And little by little, I came to realize that this was a really interesting field, and it was more interesting to me than straight academic history, which is also still near and dear to my heart, but I really liked this field better.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that. I was actually, before the interview, telling Bruce that as a history teacher, I used to teach global studies, which is needed to be done, and it's important that we know a lot about the world, but I've always had this passion for local history, and so I always loved, as a principal, bringing our kids here and doing projects. We did a 150th anniversary of Beecher a couple years ago, and we came to the archive, and they were just great. So now that we're talking about schools, talk a little bit about the school programs.
Sure. Our big school program we do with the Elmira City Schools, and we are if your child goes to an Elmira City school and is between kindergarten and second grade, you're going to see us. We go to all four of the Elmira K2 schools. This is an established program now, 4 years old, 5 years old. We visit the classroom, kindergarten through second grade level. At the second grade level, the students also get to come and visit the museum. It's a program we're really excited about, getting kids into the museum, being able to bring our resources into the classroom. And then, of course, we're not just exclusively to Elmira K2. We work with, you mentioned working with Beecher, which is that, we do a lot of third grader with Beecher, but we work with Horseheads. We work with, we have a program, a partnership program we do with some other museums at Corning Paint and Post. So, we're not exclusive to any school. We're happy to serve, and whoever calls us.
Not even exclusive to Chemung County, then?
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, that particular program, it's about photography, and so we have in our archives, or in our three-dimensional collection, historic cameras. So we're able to bring those into the classroom and teach that part of the photography component.
Wow. So we're sitting here in front of a vault, bank vault, and when I did a little bit of background before I came down today, I realized that this is an old bank. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. This is the original Chemung Canal Bank building, opened in 1834. And so today you go from where we are now, it's about 2 blocks to the current Chemung Canal corporate headquarters. But this is where it all started. And if you come and visit the museum today, the space we're sitting in, we call our banking gallery because of that.
Sure.
And the other connection here, I'm a little bit of an architectural historian. This space we're sitting in now was designed right around the turn of the 19th into the 20th century by our local architects, Pierce and Bickford, who were important architects in their day. And the building most people will know from them is Elmira City Hall.
Wow. I mean, it's beautiful in here.
Yeah,
If you haven't been here, you really need to come down. And I think the other, amazing thing about the Historical Society is it's withstood the test of time in terms of the flood and everything like that. I mean, the revitalization that's going on right now, we're literally a stone's throw from Turtleleaf, which I interviewed a couple weeks ago. And, they're excited about that because that impacts their business, but it also impacts, Elmira in general. What can you tell us about the revitalization?
We are, myself, my staff, my board of trustees are all excited about this new growth in downtown. Bringing people back downtown to live downtown is just good for everybody, and we have, from where we sit right here, we're almost on the corner of Water and Lake, and they're talking to the Girard Block is literally in the backyard of this museum. So when that project gets moving forward and brings, a whole new set of residents living, literally in the backyard of the museum, we're excited about that. But the West Water Street project, 100 West Water, which is supposed to open in the next few days.
I heard.
It is. Yeah,
he said a couple weeks ago. So it should be soon.
So again, just a few blocks away. I think in 2020 we're going to see the Lake Street Bridge be transformed into a pedestrian space. So we're excited about that. Yes, and all these things, the LECOM construction that's going on. Again, just a few blocks from here, the what is called the Libertad is the old John Jones Court.
Oh, right.
Again, just a few blocks from here. So all these really cool things are happening downtown Elmira, and I think we're proud to be downtown. We're proud to be a part of this downtown and see it come back to life. And certainly we serve all of Chemung County. We are here to hold and protect and save and share the history of Chemung County, not just Elmira.
Yeah.
But we are certainly proud to be here in the middle of all this really great activity.
Yeah. The thing I was thinking about earlier too, when it comes to history, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I always told my students that for some reason history, you get more of an appreciation as you get older. And as I get older and the more I learn about our area, I mean, I never realized we have a treasure trove of historical sites here in Chemung County, here in Elmira. I mean, we did some work with Park Church. That's like a museum in its own.
Yes, it is.
And their connection with the Underground Railroad and, Mark Twain, the connection with him and Beecher. I mean, it's incredible. And this place and Jones, there's a lot here. So if you're a history buff, come to Chemung County, and if you're not sure what sites to go to, I'm sure you can help
Start
out.
here. One of the things that we're happy to do and proud to do is be the first point of contact. I've had people call me for 1,000 different reasons because we have history in the name of our organization. And just because it doesn't mean that we're the organization that can help you, but I'm quite happy to serve as that to say, nope, we're not the right one, but call this other group and they're the right ones.
And I also know that you have another opportunity for people. Maybe it's not Saturday or Sunday or whatever to come to the museum, or sometimes during the week when it's open, it's tough for people. But you have an opportunity called Out to Lunch. Can you talk about
Sure. So
that?
once a month, and it is on a Wednesday, but it's a free program. Come here to the museum at noontime, and we tell you a story from history. And it's not one of the big stories. We try to make it something small. I guess small in terms of, we're not talking about Abraham Lincoln and George Washington.
Sure.
It's local.
Yep.
But it's fun and it's different, and you come and you bring your lunch and you sit down and you get a story. If you can't get here, we do it on Facebook Live, so try to take advantage of the technology that's out there available to us and reach people. And it's just another way for us to share some of these great fun stories that we as researchers come across working on different projects. And it's, that may never end up perhaps in an exhibit, or, when you're working on a written article, it's, you've got so many words and, well, this story is just not going to fit. Well, this is a place we can tell that story.
Awesome. Yeah. As a realtor, we do kind of the same thing, and I think a lot of it has to do with time scheduling, because we're all so busy in life today, and we're all multitasking all the time. So we have we call it a lunch and learn. It's the same kind of thing,
Yeah.
where realtors are busy like everybody else, and but you can take your lunch and learn for a half hour. If you want to stay 15 minutes, you stay 15
Right,
minutes.
right.
Whatever. Same kind of thing. So that's really
Exactly,
good.
exactly.
I'm interested to know, you're a nonprofit.
Mhm.
So I know one of the things that is a challenge is funding. Can you talk about your funding?
Sure. I mean, funding is always a challenge, and if you ask any nonprofit director, their first thing is going to say funding is the challenge. We are funded through three primary sources. One, we're blessed to have a very good-sized endowment. The Board of Trustees, going back several decades, made the decision that this would be a good thing. So we have benefited from foresight going 30, 40 years ago. Somebody said, let's get this started, and of course
Make it a
accrued-
priority.
Yeah. And so the accrued interest of that many decades has put us in a good position. So that accounts for about a third of our operating budget, which is really nice. We have a couple of large fundraisers every year. We're just a few weeks, 2 months or so away from Great Car Thing, which is our big spring fundraiser. And then in the fall, we do Res White's Blues and Brews. So those come near to another third. And then the last third is all the other ways. We have membership, we have grants, we have gift shop sales, we have admission fees, donations, flat out donations. So all those other things contribute as well.
So tell people, are you strong here? Are you solid?
We are. Things are good. Our budget is fine. The thing we're looking at, and the thing we're challenged with right now, I would like to see, we talked a little bit about the education program. My challenge right now with growing that education program is time. I could really use another staff person, a full-time staff person in my education department. So full-time salary, full-time benefits, that's the challenge right now, is to make that's a big leap. That's,
Sure.
tens of thousands of dollars to bring on a full-time professional.
So you're not there yet.
So we are not there yet. And then, if you come and visit the museum, you'll notice when you pull our parking lot's kind of bumpy and needs work. The ongoing maintenance issues. So, we are starting to talk about and starting to put together a plan to address some deferred maintenance issues. And we'll be talking more about that as the plan comes together. And right now it's just, what do we want to do, and how do we get started?
Yep.
So.
Well, I'll put in a plug for you now. If you're a business or a corporation that thinks this is a worthy cause, it's a good place for money to go. It's good PR, and it would be very helpful. It does sound like that extra person would make a big difference in servicing the whole community.
Certainly. And I do have to say, we do have a collection of
Yes.
members, and both individuals and business members who have supported us, some for many years. So we've never turned down more.
Never turned down more.
But I certainly don't want to make it seem like I don't have any, because
Right,
I've had
sure.
some wonderful supporters
Good
through
point.
the years,
Very
and
good
they are, the organizations that support this entire community.
Nice. So, I've been asking people when I interview too to talk a little bit about yourself. Bruce Whitmarsh, who are you? What is your passion? I mean, obviously you're a history buff like me, but what else is, what do you like to do?
Sure. So I've got I did. I was straight history for, undergraduate, graduate school. And then I fell into the museum world, and it was one of the fine things that happened for me falling into the museum world. The very first museum I worked at, I met my wife. So I'm supposed to be in this field. That was a good thing.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. But one of the things that came with being married to Kathy is horses. She grew up with horses, and so I have horses out. I live out at Horseheads, so we have space. So it's been fun over the last, goodness, what's it, 20-some years now that we've been married. Enjoying having the horses, although if anybody wants to come and volunteer to clean out the horse stalls, I will give up that job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then, my daughter's off to college now, but, just having I have a daughter and a son, and just enjoy being a parent and spending time with the kids.
There's a big job right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's it's one of those when, it's something my wife and I laugh about now, that, when our parents were telling us, oh, it's going to go so fast, and we were the kids.
Yeah,
we're like,
you didn't
no,
believe it.
no. But
No.
of course now we're on the other side. It's like, oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I can, one of the things I really love about history is I enjoy old buildings, and I'm also a woodworker, and I like to do things with my hands. So, it's kind of a nice mix to have, old buildings and carpentry as a hobby.
Hobbies go
yeah,
together.
And
yeah.
I own an old house, so I get lots of practice.
Yeah, this whole house, right?
Yeah.
So anything you want the public to know that we haven't covered that you think is important for them to know about?
Yeah, the Historical Society is here for them. We are the place that collects our community's stories, and even though people think about museums in terms of objects, photographs and three-dimensional things, those help us save and tell the stories, and it's the stories are what we're about,
sure.
Not the things.
The heritage, yeah.
Yeah. So we want people to come and hear those stories, but we also love to have them share those stories, because that's how we get our stories, how we get our stuff. So when you come into the door and walk around the museum, or you go to one of our programs, we do programming out in the community as well. Those stories are there because somebody shared them with us and we were able to save them. All of us in this field have heard things, oh, we emptied out Grandma's house and threw it in the trash. We didn't think anybody would want that stuff.
Right.
And the fact is we did. And again, just because you're not telling stories of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, that's
Still important.
yeah, it's still very important. I go out, I and my staff, we all at various times go out and give talks to like the Kiwanis or the American Legion or whatever, and people in the audience will share stories with us after my dad worked there, or Mom grew up across the street, or those are the things we want to hear, we want to know about. We love those stories. And one of the great things about technology, if you have letters from World War II, your dad wrote your mom, whatever, grandma and grandpa letters from World War II.
They don't have to be famous. They
Right.
just have to be people.
And technology now, of course, we can scan those letters, and the family does not have to give up their
Physical
important
copy, yeah.
thing. And we here at the Historical Society can have that story now to share, and make it part of what's available to all the community.
We actually did that when we were doing our 150th celebration at Beecher. We did a clutter out, clean out, and basically gave you guys dozens of
Yeah,
old
yeah.
photos, lots of which had been given years before we were ever there, but we didn't realize that even the current project that happened, 7 or 8 years ago, that's history.
Right,
That's a
right.
historical building, and by a very historical Elmiran, and it really made us stop and think on our end how important it is. And it's not something that you think about on a regular basis, or a lot of people wouldn't think about in their daily lives,
Right.
until you realize you guys are begging for that stuff.
Yeah. And I guess just give us a call. Even if we have, I think one of the things I know we have a whole bunch of in our collection are spinning wheels. And so now, I've just said that, and you're thinking, well, I'm gonna throw this spinning wheel away. Call us.
Mhm.
Because what we want, you have the spinning wheel with the great story to it, we'll get, we'll make space for it.
Yep.
That's, because again, it's about the story. We want the story, and saving the story, and hearing the story, and knowing about the story. That's where that's what history is. It's not names and dates, it's not old stuff,
Mhm.
it's a story.
Yeah.
It just happens to be the factual story of, how life used to be as compared to how life is today.
Awesome. There it is, a call to action for the public, for all of us, to keep this gem in our community and make sure that they remain solvent and in good shape. Once again, I'm Mike Lanning. I am a local realtor. This isn't my regular job. I've had a great time doing it, and I'm learning so much, and it's becoming a hobby for me too. But in order to support these videos and the website, parkbench.com, please visit parkbench.com and subscribe. Also remember that I give free real estate advice, market reports, home valuations on the website. Subscribe. You can ask for that at any time. You can, if you're a business and you'd like to be interviewed, you can inquire about having or requesting an interview, and I'd be glad to do that. I have several scheduled, and I will continue to do that. And if you have any leads for anybody that's buying or selling, please go to the website and give me the lead, or you can give me a call at 607-351-2070. And remember, that's parkbench.com. Bruce, thanks so much for your time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.